This question's from Lydia. Cecil Bosia, would you hold your hand up, please? Hi. Difficult name for me, that one. Thank you. How easy or difficult will it be to renegotiate over our EU membership? Now, do you want to have a go at this one, Victoria?
I'll start, and I'm pretty sure Nigel will have a few things to say. There's no renegotiation possible. Juncker has said it. Merkel's said it. They laugh at us even considering it. And Cameron's saying it to lie, to try and grab votes and con us all. I left the Tory party and I told Mr Cameron to his face that he was disingenuous and I didn't believe a word he said. Now people in this country are beginning to think the same. There can be no renegotiation in Europe, and I'm sure Nigel would like a few words as well on this.
Yeah, I would. You know, whilst we're talking about David Cameron, please, 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 let's not forget about Ed Miliband, because Ed Miliband chose the opening speech of the general election proper to talk about, as he saw it, the benefits of membership of the European Union, which proves that fully and finally the Labour Party is now a party of the corporates and has completely turned its backs on working men and women in this country. All right, so we must remember that. It is possible, Lydia, that in a renegotiation, if two things were achieved, it may be possible that the Brits would vote to stay in a reformed and changed European Union. However, there are two things the Brits want. One is the return of the supremacy of our law, meaning that our own Supreme Court would be superior to the European Court of Justice and the European Court of Human Rights. You know, we'd be able to decide ourselves whether prisoners got the vote, for example. I do have a view on that, by the way, and it's a pretty firm no, but there we are. So that's one thing that if he could renegotiate, we might be tempted by. The second thing that the British people want, and overwhelming, nearly 80% of them want, is control back of our borders, which would mean ending the unrestricted free flow of people with 10 former communist countries and with a Eurozone in the Mediterranean that is going through such deep misery. And on both of those points, there is no renegotiation. You know, I know Juncker, I know Tusk, I know these people over there. In fact, with me in the European Parliament, it's been up close and personal for many, many years. This is not up for negotiation. So frankly, if we enter into a 2-year period of renegotiation, followed by a referendum, all we're doing is wasting 2 years. Wasting 2 years of potential fishing opportunities in Grimsby. Another 2 years of who's to say how many hundreds of thousands more people coming and settling in this country. There is no substantial renegotiation on offer. The choice is simple. It's yes or no. Do you wish to govern your own country? Do you wish to control your own borders? Or are you happy for these decisions to be taken elsewhere? That is what it comes down to.
Right, we've got our last question now. James Bell, can you hold hand up, please? Thank you, James. Should strikes in the NHS be banned or meet a turnout threshold that politicians don't? It's a very good question.
Well, I've met quite a lot of politicians who are permanently on strike, so there we are, and whose workloads and work rates are not perhaps what the taxpayer would expect of them. Look, you know, people do have the right to strike, of course they do. It is a fundamental right, but we have to make sure that sufficient numbers of people in a proper, open process have not been intimidated to voting for a strike. And we saw some of those reforms coming in the 1980s, and they were the right reforms, and we need to be quite robust on this, because actually issues like the right to strike and issues like employment legislation are no longer the preserve of the British government. They're in fact things that are decided now at an EU level. So whatever your view on that question, it now doesn't really matter whether you have a Tory government or a Labour government, because these big decisions are taken somewhere else. And look, 75% of the laws that are now made in this country are made somewhere else, over which we have a minority say. And whilst they might make some good laws, if they make bad laws, there is nothing that we, through a democratic process, can do to change any of that. And that goes against what is parliamentary democracy. It goes against the thing that we, more than any other nation on earth, worked over centuries to build, and twice, at massive sacrifice in the 20th century, fought to defend. It is something that matters. It is part of our core, our ability, our power to hire and fire the leaders of our country. And really what we vote for now is not a change of government, it's a change of management, because many of those big decisions are taken somewhere else. And our leaders, believe me, our leaders don't think we're good enough to run our own country. They don't truly believe in Britain and believe in the British people. And I am unashamedly patriotic, and I do believe we're good enough, and I do believe the right thing. And I do believe the right thing is for us to run our own affairs and to be accountable for it, for us to control our own borders, for us to negotiate our own trade deals on the world's seas. And on a passing, ending note, I believe we're good enough in Grimsby to go and catch our own fish. Good luck, Victoria. Thank you, everybody.